You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
All right, Rich, you know what's getting ready to happen. The NBA is starting up. It's getting ready to be a time for hoops. Hoops time is here.
Bowling.
Yeah, it's going to be a balling effect. In fact, tonight is when it all gets jumping. The powerhouses are going to be in the building. You got Nets versus Bucks, and you've got Warriors versus Lakers. I don't know how you're feeling about either of those teams right now, Rich, but when you look at Nets, Bucks, when you look at Lakers, Warriors, what do you see, especially with Lakers, Warriors? What is it that you see out of those teams?
Both teams got a whole lot to prove this year. Warriors are coming back with a good core of young players to add to their already existing good players. I don't know if they're really happy with their offseason because remember there was this big talk about potentially signing a superstar and ridding themselves of their young players. Then all of a sudden they went to the draft and liked their picks. Is that going to equate into instant success? I don't know. And then you're still without Klay Thompson. But I think the focal point is on the Lakers and seeing what their seriously front-loaded star power is going to do, how they're going to mesh, how they're going to mold. They had an unimpressive preseason, but we're all talking about veterans, seasoned veterans that preseason should be a big bother to them. So, but people are going to be looking to see how they look together. So I think the pressure is more so on the Lakers to come out and have a good showing for that matchup, which I think they will. I think people are underrating the Lakers. Believe it or not, I don't know how you can underrate LeBron James, but I think people are definitely underrating what the Lakers can do this year.
Well, one of the things that we always look at is we look at the fantasy numbers, we look at the lines, we look at a lot of things to start putting our lines together. As you know, we have several leagues out there that we're doing, fantasy basketball leagues. We got starter leagues where you got 5 people. We got advanced leagues where you got multiple guards and multiple centers and forwards, and you got some reserves. So we've got something for everybody. So let's look at some of the numbers here. Right now, when it comes to the top 10 championship market handle, you've got the Lakers number 1 at 37%, the Nets at 14%, number 2, Warriors at 11%, and guess who rounds out the top 4 and 5? You've got the 76ers at 6%, but you got the Bulls at 7%. That's their handle right now, looking at the season as it's getting ready to start. As we look at some of those fantasy numbers, you got a lot of fantasy players in between those teams that I think are really good pickups if you're doing a daily or if you're doing the PPR. I think you can ride this out the whole year. I'm looking at the Lakers. You know already that Russell Westbrook is a triple-double machine. He is that dude. But I don't know, Rich, if he can do it with LeBron and with Anthony. I'm not sure that you can get that same kind of production out of him if he doesn't have the ball in his hand all of the time.
Right. So in fantasy basketball, it's all about the twofers and sometimes the threefers. That's what it's about. And if you get a fofer, whoo, which, like you said, so you have 3 players that are used to at least twofers. And what I mean by twofers, we're talking about double doubles, triple doubles, quadruple doubles, maybe. That's where the money is because most fantasy basketball leagues are set up around a specific point system where rebounds get a point, points get a point, assists get a point, blocks get a point, steals get a point, et cetera, et cetera. You kind of get where I'm going at with that. Like you said, Russell Westbrook, triple-double machine. LeBron James is always 25, 9, and 8. Anthony Davis, 20 and 12, things like that. Is it all going to equate into fantasy value? I don't know. It's funny that you talk about the Bulls because Lonzo Ball in the preseason has been looking like the point guard that he hoped to look like when he got drafted.
Right.
And oh my God, I mean, the early onset IQ of him just amazing so far. We're going to see if that equates out to regular season. But I do like where the Bulls are sitting. They're going to be a fun team to watch. But like you said, I would not shy away from going after Lakers players, Lakers stars, because like you said, the idea is the twofer. You don't necessarily want to get locked into a player that you know he's going to score 30, 40 points, but do nothing else. That's not how fantasy basketball works.
Right. If you're in a rotisserie league or you're in a league where it's a points league, then maybe you're looking for that Colin Sexton, maybe Darius Garland. You're looking for those players who can come in and just put up numbers and literally do nothing else. But when you look at the Bulls, I'm glad you mentioned that, because you got Zach LaVine, who last year upped his averages across the board. And you thought to yourself, how is he going to do that this year, now with a more of a complement with Vooch there, now with DeRozan there? But you saw in the preseason, he was able to get in and get where he fit. And if he can give you 28 to 30 points a game with 5 assists or maybe 5 rebounds, ooh, baby. If he can up his production, he should be a top fantasy pick. He should be somewhere in that top 10 of your fantasy picks.
Yeah, and his assist numbers should go up, because the offense is not designed to solely go around him now. He has options to throw it to, especially, like I said, if Lonzo Ball keeps shooting the way that he does, he has an outside person to throw to. He's got the inside presence of Vooch. Let's just be realistic. The way that is set up, it could be kind of a interesting lob city for them, right? If you think about it. So I like his numbers. It may level off a little bit on the points, but they should come up with other areas.
Well, that's another thing. When you talk about points in other areas, you look at players like Luka Doncic, who's going right now in fantasy leagues between number 1 and number 3, somewhere in that range. You're getting him there.
Ooh, wait. Who's 2 and 3?
2 and 3 right now. You're looking at Steph Curry. You got
who are you going 1 or 2? I'm sorry. If you're going with Luka 3, who's 1 and 2?
Jokic is mostly in most leagues, about 97% of the leagues. Jokic is number 1. Now somehow Steph has leapfrogged Luka and jumped into number 2. So now you can get Luka between 3 and 4. Now some good leagues you'll get Luka at number 2. But you still got that Steph Luka thing going between 2, 3, somewhere in there. And I've seen leagues now where Giannis is falling all the way to 9 and 10. It's crazy what's going on, and it's crazy kind of the calculations. But Luka is looking like your MVP. He's the front runner in Vegas right now at plus 500 to be your MVP. But you've got a lot of players. You've got Joel Embiid. You've got Cat, you've got people everywhere that you're trying to really fit in and figure out where they go in the pantheon of this playing thing. And so it's going to be interesting to see some of those players as they go off the board, and can they transition that then into regular season success? Because we're talking about 2 things really, Rich. We're talking about fantasy and then reality.
Right.
You know, with the Bulls, you got Alex Caruso, who might give you no fantasy value. Might give you some if you have him on your bench or you need him as a utility. But in real life, in application, he's the reason why you win games. He would be the reason why the Bulls went 4-0 in preseason. Right.
You got to remember something. This is not like football, where you have a specific designated spot. So you understand how the scoring system goes in football, and basketball is totally different. So you could be right. If you have a league where points are an option, but also 3 points made are an option, I can understand why you would go after Steph Curry. If that is an emphasis, then absolutely. Like I said, it's all about the twofers in fantasy basketball. But I'm glad you pointed that out there. Just because your team is a success doesn't mean your fantasy team is going to reflect that. If you are a fan of fantasy basketball during the 90s, for example, especially during the Rodman era of the Bulls, Jordan was putting up good points, but that was pretty much all he was doing. So just something to kind of look at. If the emphasis was solely on points, and that was your guy. But like I said, in the twofer realm, maybe not so much. So
Yeah.
that is definitely something to be looking at when you're drafting your players. Don't be alarmed after about round 2 or 3. You're scamping for players like Caruso and things like that. But here's what you will have to also take into consideration. Your bench is going to be crucial because they don't play every game.
Right.
But every day, they don't play every day. In this league, they don't play every game either. But every day, points are being scored.
Right.
So you're going to have to be moving people around quite a bit. There's going to be some fun-looking trades going on. It is what it is. Find your good trade partner and go for it. It's not necessarily colluding as long as it's kept fair.
Mm-hmm. And again, you really got to know your league, know what you're looking for, know if you've got a league where you're deducted points for turnovers, know if your players are high turnover or volume players, know who those guys are, especially know if you got a team where rebounding is king or where you're looking at field goal percentage. See, there are a lot of things, as you said, Rich, different from football fantasy. You've got to look at all the boxes and see where those players fit in and see if a Steph is better than Luka, or you get maybe a Anthony Davis and he's better in a certain situation than the Lukas and the Stephs. If you're looking at rebounding, you're looking at double-doubles, as you said. It's all about the twofer or the threefer. You got to have something. If you got a player who's giving you a twofer, like back to your example, early 2000s, Elton Brand. Elton Brand was a twofer machine. He was a double-double walking. And in some leagues, that's valued more than just points scored. Or you can have a player like Kevin Porter with Houston right now, who's he's the points god now. There's no one to stop him. But he's a turnover machine, which in some leagues could take away from, if you got 10 turnovers in a game, that's negative 10 right there.
Yeah.
And he gives you nothing else. So you got to know if this is a points league or if you need a full table, you need that full complement to really win that league.
True.
Yeah. So it's a lot that you got to look at, a lot that's going on. But we want to just come in, drop some things on you, know what you're looking at, know some of the things. I know right now, one of the biggest things is trying to figure out who's going to be Rookie of the Year. I think right now you got Cade McNown. Lord have mercy.
Cade McNown.
Cade Cunningham.
Probably
not. No. Cade McNown probably.
Well,
where is Cade McNown? That's it. That we should do a where is he? We'll do a sizzle. Where is Cade McNown?
That'd be fun.
He's working.
Probably headache worthy, but fun.
Right. As we travel all over the world's Burger Kings to find him. Cade McNown.
So I like Cunningham though.
Yeah. Cade Cunningham's pretty good.
Obviously, you're in a system where the ball is going to you. So it's up to you and your health to decide what you're going to do as a rookie because they're all looking at you. So you kind of have an idea that they're going to take you serious, but not that serious. I mean, this is the professionals. So when you go against a team that you pretty much know you're going to win, you don't exert too much energy. You know their key players are going to do what they're going to do. You let them, okay, fine. We'll let you hang around for the first 2 quarters, and then second half, it's go time. Sorry for you. So statistic-wise, I don't see why he wouldn't be.
Well, I'm looking at right now. So you got Cade Cunningham, you got Jalen Green, Jalen Suggs, and Evan Mobley. Scotty Barnes is an interesting name on that list because you've got Toronto who have a plethora of injuries. Scotty Barnes could come in as a rookie and start at your small forward. And he's what you thought Patrick Williams was going to be, hopefully, what you thought Patrick Williams was going to be last year for the Bulls. Scotty seems to be that dude. I mean, he can handle the rock, he can distribute, he's a good rebounder, and he's a good three-point shooter. But the name that I'm looking at here, Rich, that the one that really gets me is Davion Mitchell, Sacramento Kings. I don't know what they're going to do with all the guards they have. I don't know what they're moving towards a more defensive-minded team. which is going to X out some of the players that they've got there already. Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox. These are not defensive-minded players. But Davion Mitchell is the one I think could be your sneaky rookie of the year if he's a great defender and gets out there and gets a good average. If Cade Cunningham stays injured, because he's injured right now, not Cade McNown, but Cade Cunningham. If he's injured, there could be a problem. I mean, there wasn't so much of a problem last year with Ball. He was your clear rookie of the year. Then he was injured for what, almost a month? 2 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got somebody else to step in, but then he came back and there you go again. He's rookie of the year. So I like Davion Mitchell. I liked his grit. I liked him at Baylor. I thought that was a great pickup for Sacramento, even though they've got a glut of guards. But I will defer. I'll say back that Cade Cunningham, unless something goes dreadfully wrong in Detroit, he should be your rookie of the year.
Yeah, he should. And I do like the Mitchell look. I think Sacramento didn't expect to hold on to Buddy Hield.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And that's going to play a part into it too, is how much playing time do these rookies have? Right. If they get the lion's share that they're actually starting, they're playing 30 plus minutes, and they're going to be the ones that's going to be looked at absolutely, automatically. So we'll see what playing time they get and et cetera, and go from there. But like you said, the clear one, if he stays healthy of some sorts, is Cunningham.
Right. So if you're using your betting money, I would say Cade Cunningham would be your odds-on favorite if you're putting your money down right now. I like Luka for MVP. Now, the only thing I'll say is Luka could be a good MVP, but if you get a healthy Kevin Durant and he gets help from his teammates and he's able to cruise through this year, I don't see how you pick anybody over MVP, because Kevin Durant is just, I don't think it really is. He's not talked about the way he should be in that pantheon of saying Kevin Durant is probably one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Good point.
All time.
But here's something that when you're talking about the MVP, there used to be the misconception. So Charles Barkley made a point of it in '93, where the conversation was how come Jordan was snubbed of the MVP that year. And Charles Barkley put it out there. He says the league has always picked the best player on the best team. Now, with that being said, with all these super teams going around here with 2 or 3 players that either were MVPs or MVP caliber players on their team already, the understanding is you are going to have a pretty good year. So the leader of a not so super team gets their team to a comparable mark where they're either close to that super team or above that super team. That's your guy that's going to win the MVP, and rightfully so, because he did it without as much help. That's where your Jokic comes in. That's where your Giannis comes in. That's where Steph Curry was having a conversation last year, because doing what he did last year was phenomenal. You didn't hear any conversation about LeBron, Anthony Davis, Durant, James Harden, none of them, because it was already known that those teams are going to be up in the top where they were supposed to be at. And I feel like rightfully so. Now, if one of those super teams comes in and wins 75 games, then the conversation can be back on the board. But they're not doing that, then they shouldn't be in conversation for MVP, because they haven't shown why that individual person is so valuable amongst anyone else.
Right. You're so right about that. But now that you know, we're going to leave it there to give you a good base for where not only your betting line should be, but what's getting ready to happen as the season unfolds. You've got a good one today. You got a good 4 games. You got, well, not 4 games. You got 2 games with 4 teams. Yeah, it's a 4-play. So you've got Nets Bucks and you've got Warriors Lakers. This is how the season should start. This is where it begins. And we will see you, my friend, on the other side.
to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Iron Skillet Sports. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to Iron Skillet Sports on YouTube at Iron Skillet Sports. Thank you for listening to The Sizzle, the hottest sports talk in the 219, here on Iron Skillet Television and Iron Skillet Radio.